Okay, today's lesson is going to be on fears with writing. So, I have definitely in the past, and still to this day, I deal with it in certain ways, when you fear to write down something that you're afraid to, let's say, be judged on. It's too raw, it's too vulnerable, you're scared what people will think. And not because it's what you wanted to write, or not because you thought it was going to be an interesting story. Like, you're only scrapping an idea because you're afraid of how it will be perceived on a personal level. So I got a comment on this chapter in particular, and someone was like, "You're making me. I'm really inspired by you as a writer, and you're making me reevaluate some of my own characters because now looking back on it, I wonder if I was afraid, and I was making them more palatable just to appease a wider audience." And I was like, "Dang, this was something that I butted heads with right up until I started Brybob, because the reason I started Brybob was because I felt like my art career was dead, because I had an injury on my thumb, I couldn't write properly, and I felt like I couldn't hold a pencil, and I was like, and suddenly it was like a small death of a part of myself with my art, and as I was slowly able to regain the ability to use my thumb, I was thinking about all the worries I had about, like, oh, if people will think about my art like this, or what if people think I'm cringy about, that, and then like, as soon as I got the ability to use my thumb back again, I was like, I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I'm gonna make, my Steven Universe, Brian Griffin, Family Guy fan fiction, because I almost lost the ability to make anything with my hands. And I realized, like, how precious and how finite the ability to draw can be. And I let go of, for a moment there, I let go of all of my fears about how I was going to be perceived, and I just made exactly what I wanted to make without any fear. And I still carry that with me to this day, although I kind of have let some anxieties creep back in. Um, and for me, it took like a near death art experience to break out of it. And so I want you guys to be able to break out of that without having your hand damaged, or without having some part of you damaged and then feeling like part of you has died, and then like being revived to be able to let go of the fears of perception. Um, Now it's really hard and it's not easy, and you have to be able to let go of a lot of things that, okay, for me, this is how I'm going to speak about it. There were a lot of things that weren't in my control in the first place that I thought were, and so I would cling on to these ideas of like how to present myself to feel like I had control over the social world around me, or how I'm perceived, when a lot of that stuff is not in my control anyways, to a certain extent, outside of being, a good person and all that stuff, like, not to that level. But the idea of like uh, making my art more palatable, not doing as much as I want to with it just because I'm afraid, or trying to appeal to people, that can have an opposite effect. And caring so much about what other people think can actually make your art, you know, not appeal to anyone in the first place. And my true belief with art is that if you truly enjoy it, if you're truly having fun writing whatever the heck you're writing, there is going to be an audience out there. There are billions of people on this planet. Whatever you enjoy intrinsically from you, that's where you should write from, and not from a place of like outside validation, looking in and changing your stuff on a dime to fit what you think people might like. To me, that's always been a recipe for disaster. Although I had an art teacher in college push back on that idea and say that inherently selfish art was actually the wrong way to approach it. So I'm just throwing that out there as like there are opposing belief systems when it comes to making art. But the way I live my life and the way I love to share my art with the world, I want to give that positivity, or like, I don't have to give you permission to do anything, but the permission to let yourself have fun and write something that might be cringy. To be cringe is to be free. That is, it's like taking a shackle, like Iris's shackle here. Like, it's like taking a ball and chain off of your leg when you let that idea go of like, holding people's opinions to such a high standard that you try to put yourself in a little box or to be smaller just to try to control the world around you. I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling. I hope this was a little bit inspiring and interesting. Let me know if you have any thoughts or opinions, or if my little ramble made any sense to you. And I super appreciate you for listening for 5 freaking minutes. Okay, bye bye.